Here's a guy who's also
let's go break it down.
acted like he does
that is Yoenis Téllez. By the way, look at these punch stats before we talk about the fight. So, I'm TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360, and Julian Jrock Williams and Yoenis Téllez. I want to know what the grammatical science is behind that. Tellez, Cuban fighter. Coming into this fight, he was 9-0 with 7 KOs. In my personal opinion, oh my bad, it's my tablet. That was my tablet. I feel that. Jeez, what is going on here? Sorry about that. Tellez is 9-0 with 7 KOs, and basically he's being fast-tracked by PBC. Oh my gosh. That's the cards. Listen in. Let me fix this.
Waleska Roldan scores about 118 to 110. Robert Perez sees it 117 to 111, and Tony Paolillo scores about 119 to 109. All three in favor of the winner. He is still undefeated, and now the interim WBA Super Welterweight World Champion, Yoenis El Bandolero Téllez.
10-0.
Julian Jrock Williams
7 KOs.
Going to congratulate the youngster.
All right, I don't know if we're going to hear a post-fight interview, but anyway, this card opened up the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach card in the Barclays Center. This is Yoenis Téllez, Cuban fighter, 24 years old, and you know, listen, it's no secret that Cuban fighters, you know, cannot look their age, whether older, usually always older looking than their age says. But I can buy that he's 24. I can buy that he's 24, unlike a guy like Luis Ortiz, who's still walking around claiming he's 40 or some shit. Well, anyway, let's talk about it. Jrock Williams, I remember I was at this fight when he lost his belts to Jason Rosario. I actually interviewed Jason Rosario moments and his trainer at the time after he won that. By the way, Jason Rosario just lost, what was that, a few weeks ago? When did he lose? I'm sorry. It was Jesus Ramos, right? Last month on Benavidez? Yeah, there you go. So anyway, all three of these fighters, ironically, between him, Jarrett Hurd was on the prelims. Former champion Jarrett Hurd, after losing to Jrock, he never been the same. And he went on to lose tonight. And even though he's only 34 years old, and I don't consider that old in today's age of boxing, but he just didn't look good. Lost to Johan Gonzalez. And as you can see, in his last 6, he is 2-4-1. And he retired earlier tonight. So the very next fight, which opened up the pay-per-view, was a former opponent who was the first person to hand him his loss, Julian Jrock Williams. Here's the thing. Jrock didn't look washed, because let me tell you something. Hurd just didn't look there. But it's like this. How do you look at it where you can say he's done on top level, but he's not done overall? I mean, are you done if you're not, you know? I mean, it's one of those type of things where I look at it, I think he can probably get some type of upset one day, because that's what it would be. But as far as, going and being getting a belt and being a reigning champion, I'm just not. Look at Bunk right there. Oh, look at Danny Garcia. And I just was about to say, between him and Danny Garcia is the most popular boxer from Philly since, you can say, Joe Frazier. I mean, and I would argue to say that he was more popular than Bernard Hopkins, with what he was doing. Bernard Hopkins still had issues selling even after he did beat Oscar De La Hoya. But Jrock, he's been known to have a very successful career outside the ring with some real estate, and has a very solid reputation in the city, especially in the West Philly area. But as I said, looking at it, I just don't see him being on top level anymore. He's just not there. And he's always been a sucker for that uppercut. That uppercut always whooping his ass. And it's crazy that he lost to Jamal Charlo. That was back in 2016. And since then, Jamal Charlo, well, as you can see, only had 3 fights since 2020. it took for him to take the police on a high-speed chase and crash his sports car for the WBC to finally strip him of that 160-pound title. Despite fighting, as you can see, Jose Benavidez, a 147-pounder, all the way up at 168 pounds pretty much. And then in a virtual call before that fight, leading up in the build-up to that fight, he was basically telling the WBC to come get the belt. So that just was pretty trash. But anyway, we don't know what he's doing and if he's ever going to come back. Them Charlos are having some problems, man. You know, that head case shit they was going through, early in their career, it's really finally caught up to them later on in their life. And it's just like, damn, such talented fighters, and right now, both of them, they're both on their last legs. But anyway, let's go look at the 154-pound division. It's not what it used to be. You got it's all over the place. You got Sebastian Fundora taking on Cordell Booker. That's going to be on March the 22nd on regular PBC on Prime. Terrence Crawford, listen, we don't know what Terrence Crawford is going to do after the Canelo fight. And that's if him and Canelo step into the ring on in September, which they're supposed to. But Yoenis Téllez, I can see him getting the title, but listen, I'm not even counting Terrence Crawford in the 154-pound division anymore. I don't think he's going to ever see that division ever again. But I still have to recognize him as the WBA and WBO interim champion. As far as WBC and WBO champion Sebastian Fundora, well, he's got options. For one, Virgil Ortiz is mandatory. Do not be surprised if he ends up against Virgil Ortiz on a Saudi card. Xander Zayas, the WBO top-ranked, highly touted now contender, number one contender. Depending on what Terrence Crawford's going to do, I expect for him to be next in line. Bakhram Murtazaliev, I think the Saudis are also going to get their hands on him. But at the end of the day, it's heavily rumored that PBC and the Saudis are going to be working together soon. And David Benavidez pretty much spilled the beans on that. By the way, this fight's coming up next. I expect for this to be interesting. But I would not be surprised if Alberto Pugliese and Sandor Martin is a snooze fest. But anyway, moving on. The 154-pound division, it's, you got Charles Conwell in the mix. Isra Madrimov, Virgil Ortiz literally just beat him up. He was dancing around the first several rounds, but the second half, Virgil Ortiz impressively slowed him down and beat him up. Jermell Charlo, we don't know what Jermell Charlo's doing, but do not count Jermell Charlo out in fighting Sebastian Fundora and PBC trying to put that together in some type of way. But here's the thing, PBC is in the pay-per-view business. And for guys like Charlo and Sebastian Fundora, I don't see that being on regular Prime. So Erickson Lubin's going to be fighting on Pro Box, by the way, to be the mandatory for Bakhram Murtazaliev. I forgot who he's fighting. Somebody let me know down below in the comments. And like I said, the 154-pound division is wide open. Yoenis Téllez, depending on, I don't really rate Sebastian Fundora that high. By the way, we're going to be covering Tim Tszyu versus Joey Spencer too. Anyway, Joey Spencer, Tim Tszyu versus Joey Spencer. By the way, but I like Fundora, but you never know which one's going to show up. The one with the jab that should be jabbing at 6'12", because every time you get into the ring is a different height, or he the one that tries to be an inside fighter, smothering his own punches because his arms are too long. But as far as Jrock is concerned, hey, listen, is he going to hang him up? He's not there at top level. For example, he lost to Tellez. I even think it's crazy. I think Xander Zayas would beat him. Fundora, yeah. At the top level of the 154-pound division, I'm sorry. I just can't see it. I just can't see it. So Tellez now has Jrock, former world champion, and Sergio Garcia, nice solid names on his resume. And Johan Gonzalez, who just beat Jarrett Swift Hurd, depending on how you view this Swift Hurd. So, nice solid resume this kid's building up. And I won't be surprised if we see him as a world champion Definitely. I don't see it in 2025. I don't see it. I can see it maybe sometime in mid to late 2026 and fighting for a title. Depending on against who, we'll have to see. Thanks for watching. I'm TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360. And I'm not even mentioning him with Virgil Ortiz or Boots Ennis if he gets past Yoenis. And I got to be honest, nothing but love, but for Philly, nothing but love. But I'm concerned about Boots against Yoenis, despite the fact that Yoenis has been on, significant layoffs. But whatever. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm TstreeT Controversy with Fight View 360. On to Alberto Puello versus Sandor Martin. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.